Alright, back again on the Rich Van Tassel channel. Today is Saturday, September 19th. We're going to be breaking down Sunday's Week 2 games for the NFL. We already had the first game of Week 2 on Thursday night. The Denver Broncos defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're breaking down Sunday's games. We're going to start with the Houston Texans going to Carolina to play the Panthers. Houston is starting Ryan Mallett in place of Brian Hoyer for this game. I expect that's going to really help their offense. Brian Hoyer was not good last week. Ryan Mallett should have been starting from the jump. They might have cost themselves a crucial game in Week 1 by not starting him. But better late than never, so they have Ryan Mallett under the helm. And for injuries in this game, Houston is going to be out without Arian Foster at running back. He is out. He is not playing. Also on the offensive side of the ball, Dwayne Brown, the tackle, is questionable. If he can't go, your starting tackle, that's going to be a problem in protection. But obviously, Houston's going to hope that he can go. For the Carolina Panthers, we're looking at Cam Newton. Can he escape the pressure that I expect Houston to get that they didn't get last week with Whitney Mercilus, J.J. Watt, and Jadeveon Clowney rushing the passer? Cam Newton, we know he can escape, so he's going to be looking to do that. I expect him to be under pressure. Will he be able to escape enough? That we'll have to see for the game. I don't think he will. Carolina, for their injuries on the defensive side of the ball, Luke Kuechly, their impressive linebacker, is out with a concussion. He will not play. And Star Latulier, a stalwart on the defensive line at defensive tackle, he is questionable. So if he can't go, that's going to hurt the Carolina offense, or excuse me, the Carolina defense as well. Houston, I think, needs to get this game. I think that they're a playoff team, as we discussed in the season previews, and I expect they're going to pick up with Ryan Mallett, and the defense is going to play much better than they did last week. I like Carolina in this game, 24-17. Our next game, we have the 49ers traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The 49ers looked very impressive last week. They obviously found a running game with Carlos Hyde, and they're going to need him, and it might be much more of a blessing because Reggie Bush is out for this game. On the Steelers side of the ball, Cortez Allen, their starting cornerback, is questionable. Will Allen, their starting safety, is probable. So with the team that really struggled in their first game against New England in the defensive secondary, they're obviously going to need these guys to play well. Colin Kaepernick, again, all of San Francisco, their entire team was impressive last week, so he's going to look to pick apart the secondary. And Pittsburgh did not really play well at all. They've had a long time to think about it. They were, of course, the first game of the new season, which was last Thursday, so they have a long time to stew on that loss, go over what needs to be correct and be fixed. They're going to need their secondary to play well. They're going to need them. They would look confused against the Patriots, so they're going to have to play much better this game. I do like Pittsburgh to win this game. They're at home. I think that they respond and come back off that tough game they had against New England. I think Carlos Hyde's going to run well, but not enough. I think Colin Kaepernick is going to make a few mistakes in this game. I'm liking Pittsburgh to win this game 20-16. Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay looked terrible against a bad team from last season in the Tennessee Titans, and New Orleans didn't look much better, but they were playing a much better team. Injuries, most of them pretty serious for Tampa Bay. Bruce Carter, their linebacker, Mike Jenkins, their cornerback, and Mike Evans, their wide receiver, all starters, are all listed as questionable, and Major Wright, a starter at safety, is out. So a team that didn't look good and is really hurt on the defensive side of the ball on this side should be in for a long day against Drew Brees. For the Saints, their injuries are Jarius Byrd, the safety, is out, is not playing, and C.J. Spiller is questionable. It's really a hit or miss with C.J. Miller. It looks like it's going to go down to game time to see if he's able to play or not. I think without C.J. Spiller, New Orleans really shouldn't have any problems in this game. If they do have problems, and even more if they lose this game, New Orleans is not the team I expect them to be this year. They're more the team of last year. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm looking for a pretty easy day for the Saints. I like 31-17 New Orleans. Moving on. Minnesota Vikings are hosting the Detroit Lions. I was expecting a lot more out of Minnesota this season, and frankly, their offense didn't show me any reason to expect they're going to have a big year. Granted, it was only week one, so we'll see if they can respond, but they just didn't look good. I'd like to see North Turner open up the playbook a little more for Teddy Bridgewater, and I'd also like to see them get Adrian Peterson involved. Obviously, he's a former MVP. You need him to play well. I think Minnesota also against San Francisco in week one was really not playing to win. They were very conservative, and I think with a team like this, you have to play to win and teach these young guys, a team that's expecting to go to the playoffs and compete for a playoff spot. You got to expect them to play better. Detroit, what can we say? Their secondary is not great. They were exposed last week against San Diego. They shouldn't have a big an issue with Minnesota because of Teddy Bridgewater, only a second-year quarterback, along with Mike Wallace, who's the receiver. He's really their only big-time threat. Cordero Patterson has not lived up to the billing since coming into this league. Injuries, DeAndre Levy is going to be a big loss for Detroit, is out. Brandon Pettigrew, their tight end, is out. Matthew Stafford is probable, expect him to play along with Golden Tate. The only injury for Minnesota is Jerick McKinnon, the running back. He's not even a starter, so injuries are in favor of the Vikings, obviously, with DeAndre Levy out. That's really going to hurt Detroit. I'm going to ride with Minnesota for now because I expect them to have a much better year. I'd like Minnesota to win a tight one, 17-16. The Arizona Cardinals travel to Chicago to play the Bears in our next game. Injuries for the Cardinals, no real serious injuries. Andre Ellington, the running back, is out, but you have Chris Johnson. You'd like to get him involved more anyway, so this could be a blessing in disguise. Michael Floyd and Jermaine Gresham, two quality pieces and weapons for Carson Palmer. Their list is probable. For Chicago, Jonathan Bostic, the linebacker, is out. Tracy Porter, the cornerback, is out. And Alshon Jeffrey, their starting wide receiver, is questionable. So Eddie Royal as well is probable, but probable I usually expect they're going to play. So the injuries are definitely in favor of Arizona for this game. Chicago played better than I expected against Green Bay. But Jay Cutler, again, he's going to make mistakes. Whether he makes them today or not remains to be seen. Even if Alshon Jeffrey plays, Patrick Peterson will shut him down. He's going to shut down any of the wide receivers, and he's going to be looking to get a piece of Jay Cutler making a mistake downfield. I think Arizona's going to go on the road and win this game. I like it 24-20, excuse me. I expect Chicago will show fight, but again, Arizona 24-20 in this game. Very interesting game. The New England Patriots travel to Buffalo to play the Bills. Tyrod Taylor was very impressive against the Colts in his first career start. However, the Colts defense is not very good, and their defensive coach is not Bill Belichick. Look for Tyrod Taylor to come back to earth a little bit. I still expect him to play well. I think he's going to control the game, try to keep Buffalo on the field as much as I can, the Buffalo offense, to keep his defense from getting shredded by Tom Brady. LaShawn McCoy is questionable. You'll need him if you want to, keep Tom Brady off the field. You'll need a strong running game. Corey Graham, probable. Percy Harvin, probable. Marquise Goodwin, a wide receiver, is out. Those are all for Buffalo. Dominique Easley, a defensive lineman, is out for New England. Tavares Cadet is probable. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of talk with who's going to shut down Rob Gronkowski on the Patriots. A lot of talk about putting the impressive corner Stephen Gilmore on him. I don't think it's the worst move, but you do leave yourself a bit susceptible on the outside, and you're also taking your best corner to put him on a tight end. You really want to do that? Now, New England doesn't really have that number one receiver. Tom Brady disperses the ball a lot, so it's a gamble. I think you would maybe half and half it, or just a certain percentage, put him on Rob Gronkowski. I look for it in the big situations, put Stephon Gilmore on Rob Gronkowski. They're going to have to get pressure in this game. That's what Buffalo needs to do, obviously. Mario Williams and Jerry Hughes have got to be big, along with Marcel Darius, who should be back for this game. So if they can get pressure, Buffalo might have a chance to win this game. They are at home. This could be a big stepping stone for this team. We had them right on the cusp of the playoffs, and they're the only team I really think who can compete with New England this year. I think Buffalo is going to surprise people and get the win. I like it pretty high scoring for such a good defensive team like Buffalo, but I'm going to go 28-24. Buffalo Bills win a big game early in the year at home. So the San Diego Chargers are going to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. The Bengals were very good against Oakland last week. Andy Dalton and AJ Green. That's what they're going to rely on. Cincinnati's not dealing with any injuries. Jacoby Jones, a wide receiver and kick returner for San Diego, is doubtful. So, I mean, his kick returning duties, yes, that's going to hurt, but that's really not the most important part of the game. So we're pretty clean on injuries on this side. Phillip Rivers, we know who he wants to look for as big targets, likes to give him jump balls downfield. How much are they going to run the ball? We'll see. I mean, not really expecting to gain many yards against Cincinnati's impressive defensive line to begin with. So San Diego's going to be throwing the ball. Cincinnati's also going to be throwing the ball. I expect a high-scoring game. I'm going to give it to the home team. Cincinnati 31-28 tomorrow. Tennessee Titans head to Cleveland to play the Browns. Johnny Manziel is starting in this game for the injured Josh McCown. Some serious injuries on the defensive side of the ball for Cleveland especially. Justin Gilbert, questionable. Carlos Dansby, questionable. And Scott Solomon, another linebacker, is out. So, we're really going to be hampered for Cleveland on the defensive side of the ball. Now, you would think Tennessee, does that really matter? Well, Tennessee shredded up Tampa Bay, a poor defense last week, mind you, but we'll see. Is Marcus Mariota going to be that guy? You know, obviously not one game you can judge off it. He's going to be licking his chops today at a nice opportunity to go up against the Cleveland Browns, however. Injuries for the Tennessee Titans. Jason McCourty, the cornerback, is doubtful. Delaney Walker, questionable. And Antonio Andrews, a running back, is out for tomorrow's game. Now, Tennessee, are they going to be better than 2-14? You'd expect them. How many wins are they going to get? This is obviously a winnable game for a bad team like the Titans. It's also a winnable game for a bad team like the Browns. Johnny Manziel, we'll see if he can limit the turnovers that he had last week now that he's comfortable and going to be starting, had a full week of practice. He's going to be playing the whole game. That would be the big determining factor because I thought that Cleveland could have stood a much better chance. Obviously, you turn the ball over 5 times against the Jets. Turn the ball over 5 times against any team, your likelihood of winning is very slim. I'm going to go with Cleveland at home. I think Tennessee is going to come back to earth. I don't think they'll be patting themselves too much on the back after their impressive win, but you can only help but think that after blowing the doors off the Tampa Bay, they might be a little complacent. So I like Cleveland to get the job done, 20-17 Browns. Atlanta travels to New York to play the Giants. Atlanta off a surprising victory against the Eagles in Week 1. The Giants, obviously, of course, off of that disappointing loss against the Cowboys. Injuries. Victor Cruz is not playing. He's out for the Giants. John Beeson, doubtful. We saw that hurt them last week when they had the rookie on Jason Witten on the last play of the game. Well, the touchdown play wasn't the last play of the game. So that's really going to hurt New York. You need the defense to play well. Victor Cruz, he wasn't really expected back yet, so that's not the biggest issue. Devin Hester, the wide receiver, is out for Atlanta. Julio Jones is probable. And on the defensive side of the ball, William Moore, safety, is probable. And Brooks Reed, a linebacker, is doubtful. Now, Julio Jones had a big game last week against Byron Maxwell of the Eagles, who's considered a pretty high-quality cornerback in this league. The Giants don't really have slouches at cornerback. Amukamara, Prince Amukamara, and Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie can both play pretty well. They're going to have to shut down Devin Hester. The Giants really, really need this game. We've seen what have happened to them in the last couple of seasons when they've gotten off to slow starts. I think the Giants can make the playoffs. We discussed it in the season preview, but not if they get off to a slow start. They lost that game last week against Dallas. They got to get that bad taste out of their mouth. Atlanta, what are they? I don't think their defense is that impressive, even though they played well against the Eagles. I don't know what that was for Philadelphia, but once Philly got rolling, you saw that this defense has holes in it. Giants gotta have this one. 24-14 New York Giants tomorrow. The Rams head to Washington to play the Redskins. Kirk Cousins will be starting again, obviously. The Rams off of that impressive win against the Seattle Seahawks last week. Injuries. St. Louis, only questionable for Todd Gurley is the lowest one. Trey Mason is probable, so both running backs, though, on the injury list, and Trumaine Johnson, a cornerback, is probable. For Washington, D'Angelo Hall, the cornerback, probable. Jordan Reed, tight end, questionable. Deshaun Jackson is out. He's going to be out for a couple weeks, and that's it for injuries on both sides of the ball. Now, St. Louis, we discussed in the season preview. They play in a tough division. They're a much better team than the record would probably, maybe not a much better team, but a better team than the record would dictate over the past couple seasons. What's going to happen in this game? Well, if Todd Gurley can't play, or if Todd Gurley is unable to go, that's going to hurt St. Louis's offense a lot. Nick Foles was throwing the ball all over a very good secondary last week in Seattle. Washington's secondary, D'Angelo Hall looks like he's going to play, but even with D'Angelo Hall, it's nowhere near as impressive as Washington. I'm not expecting much from the Redskins this year, and I think St. Louis is going to get the win and really be looking good in that division and make some noise potentially this year. I like St. Louis 27-14 tomorrow. Miami travels to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Not much of a flight. Miami had their hands full last week against Washington, came out with a win. There's been talk from the Dolphins to say we can't look down their opponents, possibly because of what happened last week against Washington, and they're not going to look to do so against the Jaguars. Jacksonville, no reported injuries. For the Miami Dolphins, Cameron Wake questionable on the defensive side of the ball, along with Oliver Vernon, who's probable, and Rashard Jones is questionable, all on the defensive end. Oliver Vernon, defensive end, and Rashad Jones, a safety. Deion Sims, the tight end, is out, and as we said, no major injuries for Jacksonville. Now, is Jacksonville going to come into this game and try to get something started this season? Yes, of course, they're going to try to win every game. Will it happen? I think Jacksonville's going to be game as Washington was last week. I think this will really help Miami early in the year that these poorer teams are challenging them for when they play better teams, because when the better teams challenge you, you're more likely to lose. Jacksonville plays well. Ryan Tannehill gets the job done, and Blake Bortles is going to be seeing a lot of Ndamukong Suh. I like Miami 21-17 in a tight game. Jacksonville's still trying to improve there. Baltimore Ravens against the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. East Coast team flying the West Coast. Obviously, we've had our discussions about Oakland, what I think their potential to be this year is. I'm going to see if they can live up to that. The injury report for Baltimore, it's all probables, obviously, except for Terrell Suggs, who is out for the rest of the season. For the Oakland side of the ball, Derek Carr is probable. They're going to need him to play. Nate Allen, the safety, is out for the rest of the season. Darren Woodson, the safety, is questionable. So, Oakland's defense is really going to be up against it. The Baltimore offense looked terrible against the Broncos in Week 1. Both of these teams need a win. Baltimore, obviously, is much more expected of them. Except for me, I expect the Raiders to go to the playoffs. But Baltimore, obviously, the pedigree they've had over the past couple of seasons. One of these teams is going to be 0-2. I'm really looking for it. I think it's going to be the Ravens. They're traveling east to west. It's not quite as harsh as the west to east is, but the offense just doesn't look good. Are they missing Torrey Smith that much? I don't know. And if for whatever reason Justin Forsett, who's listening, is probable can't going to go or isn't able to go, really going to have a hard time for the Ravens. Still stick with Oakland from this point being. I expect their offensive line to play better, and I think Derek Carr is going to be able to find his weapons. Oakland will win this game 24-20. The Cowboys traveling to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Obviously, the Cowboys are without Dez Bryant, along with Randy Gregory, their second-round pick. James Hanna, the tight end, is also out. Ronald Leary at guard is questionable. If he can't go, Lyle Collins will get the start. The rookie, undrafted rookie, who was a first-round talent. So Cowboys won't be missing much there. Philadelphia, no injured players. Now, Philadelphia's corners didn't look good last week. They don't have to contend with Des Bryant this week. Devin Street is going to get the start, lining up opposite of Terrence Williams for the Cowboys at the receivers. Terrence Williams, this will be kind of a trial for him. We'll see what he has now that Des Bryant isn't commanding so much attention on the other side of the field. If Byron Maxwell plays better, you would expect Philly to win. I just like Dallas. It could be my bias showing. I think this team is, turning the corner. They showed it last week against the Giants, and I think they're going to go up there and get the win. I think Lance Dunbar is going to play a big role, kind of the battle of the little running backs between him and Darren Sproles for the Eagles, guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think Dallas controls the clock a little better than they did against the Giants. They're able to stick to the running game a little bit more because they don't fall down, and they cash in some of the opportunities and don't turn the ball over. I like the Cowboys coming out of here with the win, 24-23, Tony Romo Magic late. And then the Sunday night game is the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers. Rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Green Bay is obviously going to be looking for revenge. Brian Bulaga for the Packers is out. He's not playing. Morgan Burnett, their safety, and Randall Cobb, the wide receiver, are both probable. No injuries for Seattle. Now, Seattle did not look good last week. Their offense looked good. Their defense didn't look good. And we know Aaron Rodgers can slice and dice the secondary. Now, is the Legion of Boom going to answer the bell? You would expect so. I don't see Seattle being an 0-2 team, but it very well could happen that they're playing Green Bay. And Green Bay is going to be hungry for this one. Now, any Seahawks fans who see this, not the end of the world. Seattle can still recover, but Aaron Rodgers is really going to take advantage of the secondary that looks a little lost out there. Cam Chancellor not playing. And I don't mean lost as in they've lost their game or their ability to play. Just don't look as focused and, together without their brother in arms out there in Cam Chancellor. Aaron Rodgers plays big. Russell Wilson also plays well. His defense just can't hold them up. It's going to be a lot like last week's game, and I expect, possibly even a higher score than 34-31 showing between the Rams and the Seahawks last week. So I don't think it'll be that high, though. I'd like 31-27, the Green Bay Packers to win tomorrow. All right, so that's it for the games for Sunday, September 20th. We will break down the Monday night game, the New York Jets and the Indianapolis Colts on Monday. We'll also give you a recap of all the games from Sunday as well as the Thursday game. Got a lot to go over with that game come Monday before we give you the picks for the Monday Night Football game. So stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow and enjoy your Sunday of football. Thank you so much.